On April 24th of last year, it was the 100th anniversary of the Armenian Genocide. Armenians all over the world organized protests calling for the international recognition of this tragedy. I was in DC for the weekend, so I went to the one there. I was overwhelmed. All of my Armenian family had died in the genocide or emigrated, so to me, Armenia had always seemed like a legend, a sort of mythical homeland that was too far away to really be real and too foreign to really be mine. But here I found myself in a crowd of people that looked like me, that were speaking Armenian, and that were passionately protesting for the recognition of their history. Was this history mine too? I wanted to find out, so I dug a little deeper. I learned that my family were saddle makers from a small village in what is now eastern Turkey called Gümüşmaden, and that their homeland was destroyed in the wave of massacres that preceded the Armenian Genocide. They fled to the nearest big city of Harput, but soon enough the genocide began in earnest. Some of the family managed to escape to America, but most were left behind. One brother, Sarkis, was forced to serve as a dentist in the Turkish army, treating the very same soldiers who had shot his friends and marched their children out into the desert to starve. In search of our past, my family decided to take a heritage trip to Armenia last summer. I was excited to discover the mythical homeland and its epic story of survival and rebirth since the genocide. When I got there, however, I realized that this was barely a chapter in the far more epic and much longer story of Armenia. The earliest traces of this story are the Ukhtasar petroglyphs, depictions of agriculture, rituals, and mythical creatures that date back to 12,000 BC. The earliest historical mentions of the Armenians are from 518 BC, and they had empires contemporary with the Hittites, the Phoenicians, and the Medes, cultures that have long since died out. The Armenians, however, are still here. They survived conquest by the Arabs, the Mongols, the Turks, the Persians, and the Russians, and for the first time in centuries, they got an independent state with their independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. The struggle didn't end there, though. With the collapse of the USSR, the country's economy collapsed, and matters were made worse by the Spitak earthquake that killed 25,000 people and left thousands more homeless. To add to that, part of Armenia's historical lands had been given to Azerbaijan by Joseph Stalin. The people had voted to join Armenia upon the breakup of the Soviet Union, but Azerbaijan would not hear of it. They had been carrying out a campaign of ethnic cleansing of their Armenian population for the last decade, and they had managed in most of the country. But when they tried in Artsakh, the people fought back. They had a ragtag army and no support from anywhere. Even Armenia couldn't reach them until near the end of the war. They managed to beat the odds, however, and they fought hard and got independence for their country in 1994. Today, Artsakh functions as an independent state, though it is not internationally recognized as such. This means that the citizens of Artsakh live in a country that, according to many people, does not exist. As we traveled through an Armenia that was writing its newest chapter in its epic history, we wanted to learn more. So we decided to come back, this time with the intention of investigating the story of Armenia and sharing it with the outside world. Rebirth Armenia is our attempt to do this, in a writing and photography collaboration between myself, the writer, and my mom, the photographer. We will be taking a month-long road trip through Armenia this summer to discover the secret to Armenia's 14,000 plus year record of survival, and to explore the newest rebirth of Armenia in the 21st century. We will be telling this story through the voices and faces of Armenians like painter Gazar Gazarian, LGBT rights activist Mamikan Hovsepian, president of the Yazidi community Kadir Hajoyan, a family of Syrian refugees, and other people that we will meet along the way. I'm very excited to tell the story of Armenia, not just as a way to preserve Armenian culture, but to introduce everybody to this undiscovered country that carries so much of the world's history. In today's world, where millions are forced to flee their homes as refugees, that inequality is growing, and so many people live without hope, it's important to know that you can always rebuild. Thank you.